Thanks, Deanna. Hi, everybody. Great panel discussion, by the way, guys. I worked with Marika at Cox for years, so I know what kind of work she's doing. And I'm an Atlanta native as well, so I've seen the city change. And I work in marketing and CSR. And so, helping people and fighting the need for further diversity in all sorts of areas has been kind of a lifelong work for me. I've been in technology, I've been in art. And so as an artist, what I like to try to express is a lot of the emotion of what African-American men feel, primarily because I'm an African-American male, so I can kind of identify with those emotions. And so the work that I collaborated with ComfiArt on that you'll see on the site is called A Piece of Power. And it's really two pieces that represent kind of the kind of duality of life, right? You want peace in your life, but you have to have a certain amount of power in order to maintain that peace. And there's always this balance between when do you exert yourself to really try to make a change, and when do you try to collaborate and give in and kind of settle in on a peaceful sort of solution. And so you'll see two designs that were done digitally. They're some of my favorite pieces ever, and they represent both the peace sign and the Black Power fist, which is how I like to reference it, although a lot of people will call it just a protest fist. And the colors represent the energy that comes from that, right? When you think about peace, you think about something that's a little bit lightweight, your weight is off your shoulders. You think about light colors and kind of a soft feeling. And when you think about power, you think about exerting yourself with really bold colors and really sharp contrast. So that's what you'll find in those two pieces. And as a child of the 70s and 80s, Dr. King was a huge influence for me. So it just kind of flows through everything I do, just those lessons from him and all of the other icons of the 60s civil rights movement and beyond. So hopefully that resonates with you when you see the pieces.
Thank you so much, Zuri. And the next artist will be George.
Hello, everyone. Once again, I definitely agree with Zuri. It was an amazing discussion. So thank you so much for sharing, folks. My artwork is mainly urban landscapes. I attempt to document the past, the present, the future. Most certainly trying to show the way people live, their spaces. And with this, the images that are on the auction, they're mainly for my Bridges series. The idea that bridges most certainly were used to bring people together, most certainly bring communities together. However, we know that many of them are named after famous racists and also most certainly, unfortunately, have been used to hang Black bodies like those Southern trees. So, I most certainly was trying to depict a certain amount of history, but also commemorating it a bit so people don't forget. Also living here in Atlanta, seen a lot of change. A lot of the renderings of places that I've represented are gone now. And yeah, I just want to make sure that we don't forget.
Thank you so much. We have two other artists. I don't see them on here, which is G.W. Harper and then also Art Addict. She was on earlier today, but we just want to say thank you again for being a part of this. The link is still live for you to bid, and I'm going to take it back.
Deanna, can we see some of the artwork on the screen? That would be awesome. You guys can see what you're bidding on. One second, guys. We're about to share. Are we looking at GW's work, Deanna?
I don't know if you can hear Deanna, but you are the martyr pieces are from G.W. Harper, and then the dreamer pieces are from Art Addict.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think sometimes as you share the screen, it kind of, messes up the sound quality. But Zuri, um, this is amazing. Um, if you'd like to speak some more about your work that you submitted, we'd love to hear it as people log in to bid on some of this beautiful artwork. What is behind you? What is
Oh,
behind you
well,
right now?
actually, those two are the pieces. So those are actually up on the site for auction. So they're pretty
And then
big
there's one
pieces.
in the middle.
Yeah, and the one in the middle is something I'm working on now. So started to add a lot of color to my work. So I'll do a lot of portraits of men with different expressions. I can't even figure out how to dodge it.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see on my website, I have like this is one of my paintings that I put on a t-shirt, but it's really just nonverbal expression, just a head, shoulder up sort of, look. And I grew up, my mother was a communications person. My father was in social work. And so speaking and learning how to interact with others, whether it was to nonverbal or verbal communication, interpreting it and, being able to use it effectively was always just something that was drilled into me. So I really like, faces and looking at expressions and trying to figure out what they're thinking, what their story is something I've focused in on the past couple of years. So.
How do you feel? Because the photo on your t-shirt is speaking to me. How do you feel about navigating corporate politics as a Black man? Because what I see in that photo is the weight that lies on your shoulders, and sometimes the burden is really heavy to bear. And I'm a big advocate on mental health because I feel like we've been through so much during these times. And too many of us, there's a stigma against just speaking to someone and getting the help that we need. And so I'd love to talk about what you think about that piece right there.
There's a lot there. So I've been navigating corporate America for 25 years now, 26 years. And I've been at places from IBM to startups to Cox with Marika, both the Cox companies. And it's interesting enough, is something that I'm actually exploring now. Is growing up, it was kind of impressed upon me that I had a responsibility to do more than my parents did. And whatever you define more as is all about perspective, right? But if you're in the corporate world, more means more money, more titles, but it also means making sure others come behind you, right? That look like you, that speak like you, that think like you. And I was blessed to have people do that for me from very early on. From the moment I kind of was looking for a job that I couldn't find when my GPA from college wasn't high enough to get something good, right? So I had people take care of me, help me make it through. And so it's always been a feeling that I need to do the same for others. And it can be tough when you end up being at a company and you're the only one of yourself, whether that's Black, whether that's Asian, whether you are LGBTQ plus, whatever that is, right? If you're the only one, you kind of feel this responsibility to represent your folks.
Yeah.
And when you do it over and over again, and you find yourself trying to navigate the politics of corporate America, as well as the responsibilities of trying to represent your people well, it is tiring, and it does require an outlet. I mean, art was my outlet for a long time. It wasn't what I was doing full time. I started doing it because things got really heavy, right? So I was always doodling and sketching. I turned 30 and things were heavy and it was a struggle, and I started painting and it became my outlet. And as well as therapy. I mean, whatever it takes, whether that therapy is talking to someone, which I think is absolutely important to do it all the time, but also what are those things you do for yourself? How do you make sure you treat yourself, whether that's through some creative outlet, whether that's through reading, whether that's through hobbies, whether that's through family, travel, what have you? You have to take care of yourself because you can't bear all that weight for yourself. You can only help so many people. You can only do so much for yourself. So you have to just be intentional about it and looking after yourself when you feel the need to. So that's always been, for years and years, that's what I've always done. And I spend too many hours probably down here sometimes when things get really heavy. So.
You said a mouthful there. You definitely said a mouthful there, Zuri, and I completely agree. George, do you want to jump in on this convo?
I'd love to, but I did want to make sure that I was giving some space. I see Art Addict on here as well.
Oh, is she on? Great.
Yeah, did you want to speak on that print? Because I'm excited to hear about that process.
Yeah.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hi.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. This has been an amazing panel and opportunity, so I'm very thankful to be here. So you asked me, George, my process with this piece. And to be really honest with you, it was last year, MLK Day, before all this madness occurred. And I was going through my Instagram feed and everybody's posting pictures of MLK and everything was black and white and dreary. And I just remember as a kid, I've always been somebody who's really been like, I'm Puerto Rican, and I'm Afro-Latina. So I took a lot of time in doing my research on the Black Panthers and the Young Lords. And then also Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. And so this has been my identity and something that I've been passionate about as an advocate for equality and justice for all since I was a kid. I've just been, very rebellious and somebody that's always been trying to change what we thought was normal. I think at a young kid, I always knew that it wasn't normal. And I have parents who grew up in the projects in Spanish Harlem, in the Bronx. And so I grew up hearing these stories of, how they were treated differently and how they would leave trash, in the Bronx for days on end, and how the Young Lords came in, the Black Panthers came in, and they're the ones who started, giving like food and everything in schools, and also like making sure that people came and cleaned up those neighborhoods, regardless of them being quote unquote hood, right? So that's what I grew up with, is this information. So that day, I don't know why it was just last year that it hit me, but looking at all these images and knowing what MLK's legacy is and what he did, I just didn't think that these dark colors represented him. And I said, you know what? He was a dreamer. He brought so much life. I understand that the way that he, left us is sad, and it definitely is a dark moment, but what he did for us as people is such a beautiful thing, and he gave us so much vibrancy. And so what I really wanted to do was bring vibrancy into his legacy, and that's exactly what I did. And I just changed up his image by really focusing on the dreamer part. I think that speech is just so important, and the passion behind that, I think as an artist, it goes beyond just what he spoke about. It also goes beyond you being an individual that is passionate about something so much so that you continue to do it regardless of who tells you that you can't, regardless of what you have to face to get there. I wanted to highlight that, and it was very important to me in this piece to highlight that in a vibrant, colorful way and bring that life to him and his legacy, showing man, this man, he brought colors together, literally. And so that's what I did in this piece.
That's amazing. I love it. It's vibrant, just like you, clearly. I love your outfit today.
Thank you.
I just want to let everyone know that a portion of the proceeds from today's art auction will go to the King Center. So please take a look, take a third look, take a fourth look. And we'll keep this art auction open longer than we anticipated, just to give you a chance to really dig through this beautiful art. Deanna, are you there? I think there was some issues with that. If the artists don't have anything else to add, then what we're going to do is close out and allow everyone to really enjoy the bidding process. George, did you have anything else to say, to contribute?
No, I'm in good shape. Once again, thank you so much for the opportunity. And I'm gonna peruse this auction myself, maybe bid on something here in a moment.
Definitely, definitely. So I want to thank again, Kimberly King, Kyle, Marika. This was just, I'm full from the conversation. It's a great, great conversation. Thank you to everyone that has joined. I want to give a special thanks to our sister chapter, NAMIC New York, for helping us to cross-promote this event. It was a great event. And thank you all. NAMIC Atlanta looks forward to providing more meaningful programming throughout the year. Our next program will be for Women's History Month. We'll do a virtual award show. It's going to be incredible. Our president, Charles Neal, is doing something called Coffee Talk. If you looked on LinkedIn, you'll get in our website, you'll get to see the great coffee talks that he's done. He's done Jovita Moore. That is the recently released Coffee Talk. It's incredible. NAMIC Atlanta is here for you. If you're not already a member, please join and follow us on IG and Facebook at NAMIC Atlanta. Otherwise, you guys have an incredible rest of your day. Happy President's Day. I appreciate you all for joining.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.